Generation sent me their new English 2. So let's flip inside and get you guys a look of what you can expect from this book. And then I will reserve some of my initial thoughts for the end. So make sure to stick around if you're interested in what I think. Otherwise, let's get you started. English 2 contains spelling, grammar, and writing for your kiddo. This is designed to be done 3 days a week, and it is definitely open and go. It contains 108 lessons that are intended to be done in about 15 to 20 minutes. This will get you through your school year, like I said, at that 3 days a week. However, you're probably going to want some built-in review for some of these words. We'll get to that in a moment. At the beginning, there is an introduction, but it does not really explain what their methodology is very much. It kind of is just laid out as to, this is a 2nd grade book. It'll prepare your child for 3rd grade. Here's how many lessons, how long it should be. The master word list is in the back. It's simply week 1, week 2, week 3, day 1, day 2. And so here you will see instantly that on day 1, your child is given 10 words. And on day 2, your child will be given another 10 words. And then on day 3, which we'll get to in a moment, they're going to spell those out. That makes 20 words a week is how they have it laid out. And then there's different categories too. If you flip back just a little bit further, there is the answer key. Here is just a quick place to kind of reference back to for your own sake to see like where in a crossword these words are supposed to be or how to fill them out, and just some simple things that you might want to quickly look up there. That is one thing I really like about the Generations books is that it is all just in one book. There is no separate teacher's book, student book. It is all right here. It is open and go. There's no cutting things out to prepare for the next one or having your child wait while you cut things out. It is just open and go with the answers in the back, no questioning what to do next. Very simple, which makes it so user-friendly. Everybody knows what to expect. That is definitely a high point for this curriculum. The very next page after the introduction jumps right in. Week 1, day 1. Here's your word list. Color the picture. Spelling words, so they give you like one of the letters and your child fills out the next part. Here is a sentence that uses that word. Write the word 2 times each. Cross out the misspelled word and circle the sentence with the correct spelling in it. So that's a really nice way to really engage the mind differently, to be able to identify how it is supposed to be spelled versus the other way. Turn the page, and then that's the same thing going on there. Then there is a brief grammar lesson. For the first one, you're going to learn what a complete sentence is. It has a capital letter and it ends with punctuation. So then you get to practice it. Baby nap. Incomplete sentence. It's just the thought, but incomplete sentence. The baby takes a nap. Will we move to a new house? Move to a house. Then you've got your simple writing, which is usually either a Bible verse that they will be writing, or there are excerpts from books that Generations recommends reading to your kids, like Mary Jones and Her Bible, or Christie's Organ, I think is the other one. You can grab both of those at the Generations website. For day 2, you get another list of 10 words that your child will be going through. Kind of the same ideas there again. And then at the bottom it says draw a line from the picture to the word. Turn the page, you've got some more grammar in there. This time we are learning what a noun is. So we went from complete sentences to nouns, singular noun, plural noun even. You're going to do some handwriting from a different verse, and these verses may contain some of the spelling words in them, so your child is asked to circle the words that they recognize from their spelling list. On day 3, this is the final day from week 1, you are writing all 20 of the words. It says, today we are going to review your word list from this week. Ask your parent or teacher to read the words aloud and then write the correct spelling on the lines provided. After that, you're going to circle the complete sentence below, turn the page, write an N under the word that is a noun, and practice handwriting once again. So that's it. That completes week 1, and that is really a good look at what you can expect for the way that the weeks are going to work. But let's skip ahead a little. I just wanted to point out a couple extra pages. Let's jump to week 6. There's some things I wanted to point out here. You have your 10 words again, the correct spelling to recognize there. You've got your sentences using the word and then writing them 2 times each. Here's a word list, and another way to do it, you're going to be looking for it in this word hunt there. So I like that it switches it up and makes that kind of fun. My son actually learned to like those through the God's Big Story, included some of those in the vocabulary he was learning through their reading program. So he'll be excited that those are in here. For the grammar now, you are learning prepositions. Prepositions are in, under, to, from, before, after, by, and with. So then there's circle of prepositions in the sentence below. Then there is some handwriting there, and that's an example of Mary Jones and her Bible, like a brief part from that. Day 2 looks the same in that week. Let's skip ahead again to page 71. Today we are going to keep things working with commas, This time you write the commas where they need to be in the sentence. So this is great practice in here. It makes me think of another curriculum. We'll get to that later, but I do like that that practice is in here for them. Page 75, you're actually working with homophones with your kid, and you can see they're like pair and cell and C and C. So this is really moving on. Page 111, so week 12, this is introducing countries to your kids and how to spell those words. This is more challenging. Honestly, not sure I could spell all of these right off the top of my head, but I do like that it's in here. I like that it's introducing that to your child. Generations does a really good job of including country studies for your kids, especially through their history program. But I did think this was interesting and wanted you to see that. Day 136, we are talking about subjects and predicates. Page 151, you are going to be matching the original phrase with the phrase that uses the apostrophe. And so again, a great example of how they are getting your kids to really notice it in different ways other than just writing it or filling it in, doing lineups and different activities there. There is some review throughout here. As you continue to go, it'll bring back some things. I'm not sure. This is definitely an intro. You do get into compound words, adjectives, different parts of grammar. As you continue, let's get into what I think about this. And if you have been around here very long, you know that I am an all about spelling user. So when we open up right away to that day 1, I have some things that stick out to me as being like not my favorite. So right away, your kid's first spelling word is amen. Why is it amen? Is there a rule there that could help your kid with that? All About Spelling would say yes, because there are 2 syllables. A is an open syllable that allows it to say its name. A. The E here isn't actually making the A say A. The E is just in men. That's why it's not silent. So All About Spelling would explain that. Another example is like the word before. Before, it's 2 syllables. It's not before because E is an open syllable. It would be a closed syllable if it was bed, B-E-D, but it's open. So there you go. We've got another example here. Move. Ooh. Why does the O say ooh? Well, All About Spelling teaches your kids that an O can say ah, o, ooh, or as an oven. And actually, the E here isn't making the O say O. The E is a silent E holding up the V because English words don't end in I, J, U, or V. I know right away you said, well, what about the word ski? Well, ski isn't an English word, and All About Spelling explains those things. and prepares your child with rules to be able to figure it out when, for example, they're taking a test. We just took the CAT test, and you can see our video on how my kids did, or what we thought about it there, what to expect. But my son was actually like, I got to hear him working through some of the spelling words, and he was able to say, oh, well, that letter should be doubled at the end of the word. Oh, well, English words don't end in this letter, so I know that one's wrong. He was able to work that out in his head, even though he didn't necessarily know the correct spelling. As somebody who struggles with dyslexia, I think those rules are really helpful. There is a downside to All About Spelling. It is only a spelling program, meaning there's no grammar in it. There is a little bit of writing suggestions with the dictation at the end of each chapter. You can see my full review on spelling comparisons in this video. It doesn't include this one, obviously, because this is a new book, but comparisons for some others in there. I think this is a good middle ground between Spelling You See and All About Spelling. It also, for the price, is unbeatable. Here you're getting spelling, grammar, and writing, which you won't get with All About Spelling. So for that sake, it's really nice. Also, not all kids need the rules. I have my oldest son really just gets it. He sees how a word is spelled, he practices it a few times, and he's good. I think my younger son also will really enjoy this style of a workbook where he can just open it up and go. Versus having to wait for me to sit down with him and the way that we've been doing All About Spelling. This will be actually really good for him, but for somebody with dyslexia, I don't know that it's going to be what you need for that child. But for that price, again, it's worth trying. My favorite and ultimate way that I would suggest going about this for the spelling's sake is learning the All About Spelling rules and just using them along with this. But this is going to take some work from you, Mom, to understand the spelling words so you can teach your child as you go. And that's what I'll do with my youngest son. When we come up to those words, I'm just going to help teach him right alongside what those are. And this is what we've done up to this point as well, because I do like generations. The other spelling programs also that I have talked about, they don't include God in any way. They are not Christian companies, whereas this one is, and undeniably and unapologetically, you are going to find God on every page in this book. And to me, again, that's pretty invaluable. I love that Generations does that. So while I don't necessarily love their philosophy on how they teach spelling, I do love that. Let's talk about grammar. For grammar, I don't teach my kids grammar at level 2. I just don't think that you can convince me why my kid needs to know what an adverb is when they're still learning to read well, or when they're just that young. I don't understand why they would need that. Again, this just stems back to, I have always struggled with grammar in my life. However, I mean, I'm relatively successful adult. I am managing just fine. We went with the idea of starting grammar more at a 5th grade level. Yeah, you'll see that we do Grammar Galaxy. That's more fun, and I started it when my oldest was in 5th grade. We have done some Fix-It grammar with my 5th grader. We've added it in at different points too, but I just don't pressure my kids to really get that. This is where I think my questioning on if there's enough spiral review in this book comes into, well, I don't really mind if there's not, because I don't really think that my kid has to have that memorized at that point anyway. So yeah, I will be okay using this with my kid. And even if he doesn't have it all memorized, if he gets to the end of the year and has forgotten what some of those things are, that's fine. We're going to review it again in the upcoming years, and I'm just really not that worried about it. Handwriting wise, there's no tracing in here. It is just reading the verse and copying it with your handwriting. So you're going to have to follow up with that and work with your kid on it. Or maybe you have other handwriting books if you want them to be working on a special stylization with that. But otherwise, I think copywork is great. We've talked about that in how we do journaling or writing notes to people for encouragement. I have a video on handwriting as well that you can look into if you're interested more on that. Again, I think when it comes to the price, the fact that it is a Christian curriculum and what it is offering here, I'm really pleased with and would recommend if you are looking to include these subjects for your kids. The lessons are short enough, and even if they are still too long for your kid, it's only 3 days a week, so you could definitely break it up more. To see more of our video curriculum reviews for generations, you can click on this playlist right here, or if you want to see any of the videos I mentioned during this video, they will be in the description box down below. If you have any requests of curriculums that you would like to see flipped through in more detail, make sure to let me know in the comments. I really appreciate you guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.